What's up, everyone? This is the Fraser LeVay podcast, and we have a two-parter this week because we had so much great stuff to talk about. It was a ton of content to discuss over the last week of sports, and now TV and movies, because apparently we're aficionados, according to TikTok, as our Taylor Sheridan take really went viral. So check that out, Fraser LeVay on TikTok, faneverland.com. Doing a new post for winners, losers, college football picks. The two-parter, first is NFL. We go some winners, losers. It's one of the best NFL week of chat we've ever had because there was just so many things that happened of nonsense in the past week. We have the Will Levis Award, which there was like 7 candidates. NFL rules were just ridiculous. We recap some of the games, who's good, who's bad. The Matt Eberflus quote of the week. Part 2, we get into college football, Yellowstone TV series. So come back for that one. Gladiator. That's part 2. But part 1, NFL, you don't want to miss it. Of course, we shit on Tua, Dan Campbell. Anthony Richardson had a win and a loss, so that's an interesting one. Hope you enjoy it. One of the best episodes yet. And let's get into it. Weekly segment with Uncle Blaiso, where we talk the NFL, college football playoff coming up this week, Yellowstone season finale. I hope Blaise watched it, and because he's had a rough weekend, a great weekend, I'm sure, but a rough weekend after a Seattle boys trip. So he's recovering. And his voice, yeah. You're kind of like Tom Brady. I like it. The hoarse voice.
A little hoarse.
Through it.
Yeah,
sounds
it was,
better.
I'm still reeling a little bit, but we made it home safe and sound. And yeah, the voice is a little bit off, but the senses are back. Yesterday, not so much. Yesterday, the senses were a little foggy as well as a couple long days, but we made the most of it, and we're back.
I will say, you're very impressive. Multiple reasons, of course, but like those weekends, I lose like 3-4 days. You always manage to bounce back after like a day or two, and you're like 80 years old. So I don't know how you do it. You must have some vitamins.
Yeah.
Or can you share your secrets of bouncing back?
Well, first of all, you don't get to throw out a compliment and then follow it with an absolute edge shot. That's no good. That can't happen. No, I think it's just not. It's probably just not being soft. I think that's just the one advantage that I've always had over you is I'm just not a pillowy soft princess when it comes to stuff like that, and I don't know, get up and get after it.
Yeah. I'm on tit. I'm on tit. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pop a couple of IVs and forget the headache. But you find though, days like the third day is the tough one. Like we obviously went after it Saturday night. And Sunday, you wake up and you don't feel great, but it's football Sunday, so you got to get right back on the horse and the pints start going. So you don't really get a chance to feel the hangover. But Monday was tough. Monday was as you can tell by the voice, it takes you a while to recover. But good as new today. Other than the voice, had a good day so far. So.
The Monday, the Sunday is fine because you can drink that off with some Bloody Mary, some Caesars. But it's the Monday and the Tuesday come down is always just a killer for me.
Oh, and the drive home was long. Our boy Chainsaw, he doesn't like to use much gas or get on the gas pedal too much.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like driving Miss Daisy. It's Yeah, there's a lot of comments. We don't want to chirp too much because we did hit some snow and that on the way home, and he got us through it. But man, when we were down before that started, you kind of just look over at the speedometer sometimes, and you're like, dude, try to at least approach the speed limit. You're not saying you have to speed and drive like a banshee, but like, can we get to the number that's on the sign that we're seeing? Anyway,
maybe he was confused. He was confused from the miles and kilometers switch over from Seattle back to Canada.
Right. I even offered, like, do you want me to change your digital speedo over? Because he's got this new truck and he has no idea how to use any of the gadgets, nothing. And I have the same truck, so I'm like, hey, do you want me to do this? He's like, no, I'll be fine. So yeah, we just kind of slow and steady wins the race. He got us home safe, so you don't want to chirp too much, but. It could have been probably about an hour shorter of a trip if he just get on the
Yeah, I
gas a
mean,
little bit once in a while.
he's a firefighter, right? So it's hard to chirp the heroes. You know, you kind of just let them
Yeah, but you
go.
know what though? That ship kind of sailed too, because now that he's a
Ooh.
captain, he doesn't drive anymore. Like he hasn't
Oh
driven
yeah.
the truck in over a year, so he's like, I think maybe that's why like his driving skills have just eroded. And
Yeah.
yeah, it
Well,
was quite funny on the way down. There was a lot of good laughs on the way down. We would just be cruising along in the left lane and just getting passed by people in the right lane, and
oh
I would just
no, he's
sit
one
there
of
and people would go
those.
by. Yes, and people would go
Oh.
by, and I would kind of just cover my head up like this, and then the boys in the back are just all over him. Like, oh, hey, look, there goes another person passing us on the right, and oh yeah, and then he'd get going and he'd drive fast for a little bit, and then he'd lose focus. That's his thing; he just loses focus all the time. Focused on the
But
road, but he loses focus on the
okay.
speed. So I'm like, you want me to set the cruise control, man? Like, it's no,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So yeah,
And
but he got us there. He got us back. So
yeah. Not to
that's
go
the main thing.
on chainsaw too much, but I mean, Captain, now he's going to Europe for 2 months. Now he's got a new truck. It's just like, oh my goodness, he's living the
Yeah,
life, going to Seattle on whims.
yeah,
What
exactly.
a life for that guy.
Yeah, no, life's good. He had to play hockey today. He's chasing the all-time scoring record for the local fire department. So he said he couldn't miss that.
Ooh,
He had to play this morning. Yeah.
nice. Good for him. Well, let's jump into it. Since we tested our friendship with Chainsaw, we're going to talk about this. Is I'm the most excited for this podcast. I've got
Oh,
it all noted out good.
okay.
Friendship test with Chainsaw, Stace. Now we're heading into relationship test week for any
Oh,
fan of football, because
oh,
we've got fan of sports, right? Because we've got tonight, not football, but it's the NBA Cup, which I know you're going to be tuned into, of course.
he had zero chance.
But it's SGA, Canadian SGA. He had 32 points in the semifinal, leading his team into the final. The best
Yeah.
two-way player in the league, and he's second in MVP voting or betting right now odds. But obviously, skip that. We go into what Wednesday or Thursday? Sorry, is Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Friday, we've got not only got college
Oh, yeah.
football,
Yep.
Notre Dame, Indiana, right?
Yep.
Then Saturday, we've got 3 college football playoff games and 2 NFL games.
Yeah. What
And
a
then it
day.
goes into Sunday night football. Then we go into Monday football. And then I don't have a calendar, but I think Christmas is what, Wednesday or something? And that's football and NBA.
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship, I mean, it's going to be tested over this next week. And it's the holidays. So I'm sure they want you to go shopping and
It's a
whatever
glorious
else.
time of year. It's a glorious time of year. In fact, the wife, she asked a while back, not asked, but she's like, hey, I'm going up. She knew I'd be going up to the hill on the weekend, and so she said, "Hey, Friday, do you mind if I come up? Because I'm going to this girls' games night thing." And right away, my head goes to that. What you're saying, Notre Dame's playing Friday night, all the stuff on Saturday. I was like, and you know what? In fact, don't even be in a hurry on Saturday. Like, if you have too many beverages, just come up when you like. But like,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
maybe bring some goodies from town when you come later in the day, though. Like, I don't want to.
When do you like just start greasing her too? Be like, hey, you know what? Like, here's some stuff for the party. If you guys want to have like a little sleepover, I bought you the sleeping bag for 2
Yeah.
nights. If you guys want to get crazy,
I
a
did.
little slumber party.
It's actually a good idea. Actually, I'd actually probably take home a couple extra bottles of wine. And be like, you know what? Take this with you. I think you
Yeah,
guys will really enjoy this.
and
I'm
I
taking the
got you
dog
this.
too, so she doesn't have to worry about
Ooh.
that. Like, yeah.
And then you go, I got your Christmas present early, a suite at the Grand downtown for Saturday night and Sunday.
Yeah.
So you bring all the
Yeah.
girls over,
Hey,
and
take as long as you like. It's gonna be awesome.
this is genius. Everyone, just start
This is
buying
pretty good.
hotel suites. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Send them away. It's not bad. I shouldn't say she doesn't ever try and
Yeah.
curb my football watching, but it's still
No.
like once in a while you feel guilty when she's like painting the house or something, and then they're watching my 8th game of the day.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too. It's like
Yeah.
Jess is doing all the baby stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Sunday, see you later.
Yeah, you're trying to struggle through Packers Seahawks when it's a 30-point game.
Yeah. And then the next night, you're like, oh, sorry, honey. The Vikings and the Falcons versus whoever the fuck were they
The
playing?
Raiders. Oh,
The Raiders is on, and I got to watch that because I need to see if Gilly will somehow upset the greatest guillotine upset in the history of guillotine leagues. And
that
he
was
did it.
wild. That was
Oh my
wild.
God.
I couldn't believe I wasn't even paying attention because I got knocked out last week. But when
Yeah.
you said that, I had to go look, and I was like, "Oh no way!" He picked up Bowers from my team,
Yeah.
and then he just got skunked the whole second half. I don't think he caught a ball, did he?
No, it didn't even have like a target, I don't think, because I was watching on pins and needles because I wanted,
Yeah,
what's his name, out. Spence, is it? I wanted him, or Derek Pedersen.
yeah,
I wanted him out of the league because he has a juggernaut of a team, and thank God somehow he
yeah.
lost. And
Now he's
for
gone.
listeners, basically it was Gilly who had the Falcons defense and was losing against Brock
Yeah,
Bowers, who was winning and it's a PPR league too. So yeah, it was over, and
that safety
somehow
was a big one. I think that's when they took the
yeah,
lead on the safety, and then that was it. No looking back.
and multiple block punts and kicks. I was like, Jesus Christ, Falcons
This is
D.
the Falcons D. How in the
Yeah,
world did he even think to play the Falcons D? Like
I know.
there's only
Uh,
four
De-
teams left, and the Falcons was his choice. I
that's
mean,
that's what I thought.
he's
Desmond
actually in
Ritter.
Vegas right now, so I think deep down somewhere he was hammered and just pressed the wrong button when he picked them up.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no way he actually chose to do that. He was
Uh,
just like with his big old MIDI fingers too. He was just kind of scrolled through and was like, and he pressed the wrong thing and ended up somehow with the Falcons. Didn't even know it.
yeah, and so won him the game. It was incredible.
Yeah,
um, well, NFL, I want to lead off with a weekly segment. We can make it, but NFL rules. So,
Ugh,
the Saints game and the Commanders,
yeah,
they just stopped the clock at the end of the game.
yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, stop the clock," and then they let it happen, and they couldn't overturn it because that's the rule. And again, we harp on this every week, but it's like, what? There needs to be like a common sense-o-meter rule where it's like, oh no,
Yes,
this is a blatant mess up.
yeah.
Let's change it because that's
Let's
the
fix
correct
this.
call.
Let's
Yeah.
fix this.
No, 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 no. We can't change
No,
the rules.
no. We can check and see though if he got a toenail down on the line or not.
Mm,
That part
yeah.
we can check, but we can't
Mm,
check the fact that these guys must have money on the game or something because there's zero
yeah.
reason. It wasn't even close to the sideline; like it was right in the middle of the field. I was
Yeah.
like,
Stop the
"Stop
clock.
the clock here! Stop the clock! I got a parlay riding on this. I need,
Oh my god.
I need them to cover."
When are we gonna have this clip out this podcast in 7 years? There's gonna be a Netflix special of just NFL point shaving. Jameis is in on it. This ref, the
That's just
Chiefs are in
unreal.
on it, and it's all
Unreal.
one. It's all bankrolled. Ah, we've got it. The
Yeah.
bookie. It's staring us right in the fucking eye. Taylor Swift is the bankroll for all this point shaving. She's a billionaire. She's Kansas City Chiefs.
Taylor
She's got this.
Swift.
She's the bookie that's doing all this point shaving.
You have gotten into some wild stuff down there in Costa Rica. You ate the wrong plant, I think, today.
Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca has
Yeah.
opened my eyes to Taylor
It's opened
Swift
your
point
eyes
shaving.
that Tay Tay is in charge of it all.
Yeah,
Oh man, it does
she's
explain a lot of the
always
Chiefs things. So
see the
that's fair.
Chiefs things, the
Yeah.
Saints. Someone against the Saints screwed over. She's probably sleeping with Jameis Winston and
Oh, whoa.
changes his mind about
She's
that.
not cheating on old Kelsey.
Yeah, I guess not. She probably isn't. If so, she'll write a story about it or a song.
Yeah. So another one of your rule things. Did you see the first touchdown the Cardinals got in the Patriots game?
Yes, that was number 2. Number
Yeah.
2 on this point. Cards fumble into the end zone for a touchdown.
Since when is that allowed?
Like, what? What? How? So
Like, I thought they made a rule you couldn't fumble forward. You can't advance a fumble.
yeah, I completely don't understand this. Like, you just now, why would you not just tackle it in the game? Oh, whoop, whoop, throw it over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't
Go get it,
understand
boys.
this.
Someone go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my
so
god.
confused, and not in a great state because we'd already been at said sports pub for like 4 hours by now.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to watch the game, and then that happened. So I was already really confused and
Yeah.
quite upset that it happened. I was like, "What the fuck? What? How is that a touchdown?"
Yeah. Oh my god. And finally, my favorite one, I left the best for last. This is one that's always blown our minds ever since I said one of the guy might be out for his life. I don't know if you remember back in the Morrison. So we'll go to the Falcons game. The Falcons are about to clinch the game. And this isn't the rule I don't like, by the way, but it is a dumb rule.
Yeah.
Falcons about to clinch the game. Kirk Cousins needs a third down conversion, which we know he's not going to get because he's Kirk Cousins. And he throws the ball. It gets tipped. The Raiders defender falls on him and hits him, and they throw a flag. He was barely touched.
Yeah.
Even the announcers are like, blah, blah, blah. So that
Horrendous.
on its own is dumb, right? But let's get to what's even more interesting and more dumb. Let's flip over to the Vikings game going on at the same time. Vikings punter kicks his ball, punts it. A defender gets maybe a little fingernail on it, and then you're allowed to just fucking railroad the punter as hard as you can.
Yes.
In the most vulnerable position in all of football. Like, there's no more
Far.
vulnerable than kick, leg up in the air.
Far.
And if you get the ball, you can absolutely just crush this 150-pound punter who has no business getting hit.
None. He hit him. He hit the bottom of his foot, and he's like he didn't disconnect his hip. Like,
yes,
it's unreal.
Oh my god! So you can hit the ball fully as hard as you want against Kirk Cousins, against 300-pound Jalen Hurts, strong guy. But then if you touch him, it's a flag. But you can just crush the 150-pound.
Yeah, it's a free game. You got to bring this up somehow. You got to get somehow this to McAfee, and because he'd be like, "What in the hell? Why is this?"
It's absolutely insane. I'm like, how could I just makes zero sense. So
that looked like the most painful hit of the weekend, by the way. That looks like it hurt so much.
Do you remember? It was back at Morrison House. We were watching the game, and I was like, "Oh, punter's out for his life," because they blocked the punt as a punter was kicking. This is 10, 15 years ago. The punter was kicking as hard as he can obviously kick, and someone just 300-pound dude just stopped his leg from his femur down.
Dead tracks. Yeah.
I think he broke his leg 100%. That was said. And I think I don't know if he's ever played again. I forget who that was. But.
Yeah, probably not if he snapped his leg on a body.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it was so confusing. I don't understand how that's allowed. It's okay, fair game. You touch the ball. Do whatever you want. Shiv him if you like. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but then for a quarterback, it's like the NBA. You can block, but you can't touch him. It's so weird. And then another quick loser while we're pounding on the NFL on this topic. So they fined Chase Brown for jumping in the Salvation Army little collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then NBC Sports, I took this from NBC Sports. They noted that the NFL has been inconsistent with its actions for players using the Salvation Army kettle as part of a touchdown celebration. And I'm like, so another thing, we don't want the penalty that rewards greatness, right? Let greatness happen. 55%, 45%, let it happen. Now we're taking away, the Salvation Army gets millions of dollars of free publicity from a guy jumping in there. The camera's on it. It's a feel good. Everyone's having a good time. Crowd. It's literally the perfect picture the Salvation Army would want for their business. It's so perfect. The NFL allows the fucking Salvation Army to put a kettle in the end zone.
Yeah.
If you don't want that to happen,
for nothing.
They
probably don't pay for that.
No. Put a sign back there if you don't want it jumped in, NFL.
Yeah.
What? They're going to put a ball pit. Yeah.
Or cover
Ronald McDonald House. They're going to have that and put a ball pit in the back. And be like, no. Don't jump in it, guys.
It's here, but we don't ever want to see you jumping in it. You're getting fined.
Yeah. So I'm awesome.
I'd love if the Salvation Army would pay the fine for him. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, and then they showed all the poor kids and be like, look, you just took money from Timothy. Samantha doesn't get to eat.
Yeah, they thought they were getting Christmas. Now they're not. No presents for little Timmy. He's getting nothing. That'd be awesome.
No. The punter who just lost his life savings and his family and his job that you just allowed to get crushed. He's not getting food.
He's gone. His career's over.
Yeah,
the NFL does some crazy things sometimes.
Yeah.
I just don't. How can they be so massive and so just successful, and then they just do some of the dumbest shit? You're just like, wow.
It's absolutely insane. So now, next segment, another favorite weekly segment we've got is the Will Levis Play of the Week. But Blaze, I've got a whole spat of choices for you, so you get to pick one.
This is tough.
The worst play of the week. Let's go through it. I'm going to give you Will Levis himself is nominated for his 3 picks, 1 pick 6, his fumble. And not only that, imagine being benched against the Bengals defense. That's how bad you have to be.
That's tough.
That might be tough. Instead of his picks and all that, I think the benching is the worst play of the week. So you get it's like if you're at a bar.
But he's still not the winner. I can think of 2 for sure that are above that.
I've got some for you coming.
Okay.
But losing to the Bengals, bench to the Bengals D, you get shut down by a 2 out of 10 at the bar. That's kind of what it's like.
You could be like Casey and the little hiccup that he had in that bar in Scottsdale.
Yes, the Casey hiccup in Scottsdale, exactly.
Yeah.
15 years ago, by the way, I'm sure she's not listening to this anyways, but it was a long time ago. Yeah, boy or girl, I guess is the point, especially to Blaze's mention about the boy or girl. Sorry, I mean the Casey story.
The Casey story. There was some question there. Actually,
There's
there
some
wasn't.
question.
It turns out that was cleared up, and it was the
Yeah, it was cleared
wrong.
out.
It was the wrong side.
Yeah. And then the next one I've got you is an easy one. The dropped end zones, which we talked about every week.
Drives me bananas.
Jordan Battle and Jonathan Taylor, you get to pick one of those two. I think if you had to pick, Jonathan Taylor's was worse because that started the roller coaster for them losing the game.
Yeah, they were winning. They were like, and a chance to get into playoff position. Not they wouldn't be there, but they'd only be a game behind the Broncos.
Yeah,
unreal.
So dropped end zones. Another one. This is not breaking news whatsoever, but this could be the winner. Devondre Campbell not going into the game on Thursday night.
Yeah,
since
not
suspended.
The winner. So good.
Devondre Campbell just no, I'm not going to play. I'm going to sulk and be a little bitch. I hope I never see you.
How ruthless is that, though? Instead of releasing them, which they're going to at the end of the season, they're like, "No, we're going to suspend you, so we don't have to pay you, and nobody else can pick you up." That is just cold.
Absolutely.
But I kind of like it.
That's good for them. I absolutely love that. The next is not the winner again, but I have to throw it in there, and we'll talk about this. The Tua overall play in his game, just throwing picks left and right, all the time in the world. Mike Hemp said you are an idiot. I'd give you a weekly segment. We'll talk about Tua more later.
Yeah.
Next was still not the loser, which might be your loser, is or winner, I guess. The Colts double pass into the interception.
Yeah, that's something else. I can't wait to hear what else you have up there because that one's my winner. That has to be the winner for sure. This fucking guy can't complete one pass on most plays. Like he completes less than half of the passes that he throws. Yeah, and these fucking coaches think he's going to complete two on the same play. Like I'm not a math guy, but like, come on, it's a miracle he completed the first one. There was a less than 50% chance he could play the first one, and you're telling me that you think if he gets the ball back, which he didn't, newsflash, that he's going to complete another one? You think he can complete two in the same play when he gets at 40% normally? That's something else. That to me was
that would have doubled his completions of the game. He made those two passes.
Yeah, absolutely, so bad. It was 17 for 38 on the game. So, and these guys thought, you know what? He could do two in one play. I could see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Someone has to get fired for that. Someone has to.
Absolutely need to get fired. So double pass. And then that one's probably the winner, but this one I thought deserves its own place, and for a good reason, because it also is the quote of the week loser. So worst play of the week is either that play that we just talked about or this play for me. The Lions onside kick with like 12 minutes to go in the game. Yeah. And only down 10. Followed up by this quote, which we call the Matt Eberflus quote of the week from here on out. And
I like it.
We'll also talk about Detroit, how I called this last week, by the way. Dan Campbell said, I thought we'd get that ball, and then added in hindsight, I wish I hadn't done it. I thought we'd get that ball? Dan, onside kicks are like 1% now in the NFL.
It's happened once all year, I think. One time all season.
I thought we'd get that ball? What?
Yeah. It's unreal. And even like back in the day, you could defend it, take a shot, why not? But now you have to tell them you're fucking doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Like the Bills must have just been like, what? Double check with the ref. Ref's like, oh, by the way, they're going for an onside kick, and they're just like, oh, hold on, what?
There's 12 minutes left on the clock.
But are you saying they're doing an onside kick right now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I don't know why, but thank you.
Can they fake the onside kick and then they re-kick it and then somehow I don't know, are we getting like punked here? What's happening?
Yeah, what is it? And what is the rule of that? Like, what can you just? Why don't you just say every time we're doing an onside kick?
Ooh, I think remember that time I had to watch that awful Miami Tennessee game for the Guillotine League. I think the ball has to land between certain numbers because that's what saved. That's what saved it. I'm not for sure, but I think that's what it was when I was going through my heart attack of a guillotine night that night.
But either way, you had to know Dan was going to do something like that eventually. I didn't think it'd be that bad. Like,
Yeah.
I thought maybe he'd go for it from like 4th and 17 somewhere, which is still more likely than getting the onside kick, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially when you've told them about.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it's so bonehead. And just like, don't say the first part. Just like, you know what? Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done that. That turned out to be not great. We're still the
Yeah.
number 1 seed. It's all right. Like, everyone knows we're missing half our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked that one up. And then just wear it.
Yeah. I thought we'd get that ball. That is
Yeah.
Eberflus. We call it because last time we said Eberflus probably cheats on his wife. He's like, you know what? I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
She's better than you are. She's a little bit younger. This
Yeah.
is what
Sorry
you just
about it.
did.
Sorry about it.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. For sure, Campbell's thinking that. He's like, oh, you guys ain't seen nothing yet.
yeah, maybe in the playoffs they keep the older rules, or I can surprise onside kick it.
Yeah. It's going to be like second drive of the game. He's going to go, we're going to onside kick here. The coach is going to look like, what? Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
Into the Detroit game, called it. I almost texted you this last week, and I don't know why I didn't. I thought about texting you multiple times. The baby started crying or something. But I was going to say, does Dan Campbell lose his Coach of the Year award if he does something stupid in the Buffalo game?
Ooh.
And I mean, I haven't checked the odds, but I assume it's got to sway a little bit because he was a hands-down favorite. There was no way he could lose Coach of the Year. The only way Dan Campbell could lose the Coach of the Year is if he went for a fucking onside kick at the start of the fourth quarter.
10 minutes left.
Down 10 points.
Yeah.
That was the only way he could lose it.
P.S. Not a surprise onside kick.
Yes, not unsurprised. Yes. I think I need to text you or not text you about, hopefully, because I have a Lamar Jackson MVP. And I mean, the only way Josh Allen can lose the MVP is if he throws 17 interceptions and goes back to hero ball Josh Allen.
Or if he just literally like takes the snap and turns around and hands it to a defensive end. And just lets him run into the end zone twice a game. Then maybe he loses it, but that's about what Dan Campbell did.
Yeah. So, which I don't want to skip around too much. So, speaking of giving to the other team, the Patriots. Can you guys hide your tanking a little bit? Please hide it. Like, I'm all for it.
I don't think they are. Like, the coach is such an idiot. Did you hear what he said about the short yardage stuff?
I don't. We'll get that. But do you see the play where your player caught the ball and was like, "Nah, here you go," when he threw it to the other player?
Threw it up. Yeah.
I'm like, what? You can't do that. That's a fumble forward.
Yeah. But it hit the ground, so it's not a fumble.
Yeah, that's true. He just lateraled it. It's a lateral forward to the other team. He's like, you know what? Want to know what happened is your boy Robert Kraft was like our kicker last year. Fucked us out of this. No one's doing it. If you do anything dumb, you're cut. Tankopotamus. Throw the ball to the other team if you have to. And some guy's like, oh, okay, I guess I will throw the ball to the other team.
Yeah, smiley chance. Smiley chance to throw it. Here we go.
And to make the roster next year because the Pats wide receivers are so terrible.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
And then Mayo throws his coach under the bus. They asked him after the game because they had like a third and fourth and short. And just, of course, they never run Drake May, even though he can run. And they asked him about it at the press conference. It's like, do you think maybe it'd be an idea to try to run the quarterback there? He's like, yeah, actually, I do think that would have been a good idea. It's like the OC must just look at that and go, oh, all right, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, coach.
And then didn't Drake May say, like, yeah, I'm like 6'5", 250. I ran the ball a ton in college.
Yeah.
That would have been
really good at it.
I would have liked that.
Yeah.
And not only that, the stat, you've got to be one of your favorite stats ever. Rookie players all time. He's second in yards per rush attempt. Any position.
Really? Well, I like that.
The only thing that may bring you down, but Michael Vick's number one. So I'm sorry, but at least you got number two.
That's to be fair. That's to be expected, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, it's getting hard. It's getting harder. It used to be like, okay, we're competing and we're losing. We're holding on to the draft pick, but like, god damn it. They're so bad. The offensive line is so bad. I can't even watch it. It hurts my eyes. And we still have to play Buffalo twice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, we're not winning another game. It's just a matter of whether the Raiders or the Giants lose one so we can move up in the draft order. That's all that's left to wonder about this season. And hopefully Mayo gets fired.
That's true. At least you're not like a Vikings fan or maybe the Browns, but whoever it is, but definitely the Vikings. Because if this is the Viking situation,
Yeah.
you like for sure your quarterback Drake May, he's breaking his leg in like the second to last game or the last game.
Jesus.
That would be
Use
our
those words.
that's our luck. It's like
Oh.
it'd be like nothing. You'd be taking a knee and someone would hit him and just snap it. And so
There
he's
you
got
go
that
again,
bad luck.
trying to get your little reverse jinxie it on the Vikings. Like 12-2, get over it. They're good.
Yeah, but our quarterback literally tore his ACL, our potential starter. But yeah, well, we
Yeah.
can get the Vikings. Let's get in the Vikings game.
Which was the
JJ,
only game.
yeah, JJ leads the league, and like you sent me the video last week too of like turning the cornerback like the opposite way. Like, oh, where is he? Where is he?
Yes.
he did it
How
again.
good was that video, by the way?
Yeah, so good. That poor guy, he had to
The
get
guy
cut.
fell. The guy was face down on the ground as he ran into the end zone.
Yeah. For anyone who didn't see, Blaze sent me a video last week of like Justin Jefferson sending a guy like to go get a hot dog, and then he tried to get back to get his after the hot dog, and then he just fell on the ground because he was so twisted around.
Nobody within 12 yards of him, and he just is lying on the ground as JJ walks into the end zone. It was unbelievable.
Like Allen Iverson mixed with like Megatron or Jerry Rice, like just crossing him over.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing this guy.
Yeah, that's tough. We need to figure out a way to clip these and put these on here because that would be awesome.
I know.
Once we actually not allowed.
Yeah, you can. Once we make like a cent with this podcast, we can get a producer. We can start putting little videos in. It'll be incredible.
I like it.
Also in that game, analytics. So we were 4th and 3 from the 20, and analytics said to kick it, which is fine. We didn't, but it's fine. But then analytics, I think like 4th and 7 from your own 43 is to go for it. So I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand the analytics.
Yeah, I don't even pay attention to it. Whenever that comes up on the screen, I just ignore it and just go by feel. Please, coaches, just go by feel.
And what makes sense? Kind of like what the NFL should do with rules. Like, go what makes sense? Please do that.
What we should just do in life in general. There was in a political talk last week, and I'm just like, every time you hear an announcement, there's the minister of this, the minister of that, minister. Can we just have like the minister of common sense?
Yeah.
That's what we need. That's what we truly need. It's just like the one person in government that just sits back and is like, fuck, guys, no, that doesn't make sense. For either side. Stop. That doesn't make sense. It has to happen.
Not to get too political, but the USA is doing this now, and they made Elon Musk the head of it. It's like the minister of like doing stuff that makes sense, kind of.
Oh,
and they want to do a thing where you vote on X on Twitter for like what you want to do, or like there's like people who like make the decisions that are all like, but they're all rich people, and Elon Musk is rich, so I just don't think that these decisions are going to go for like the middle class or like the lower middle class. So
yeah, that's so they're putting it on X. That's I can't
or something like that. Maybe it's not on X, but it's Elon Musk is basically doing some sort of voting system, but it's only people of power who are in this vote.
Oh, that's
so
good.
And they're saying it's like
just more of the same with a different name.
More of the same. Yeah, they're like, hey, we got this, but it's only for rich people. So back to the Vikings. Just this is a little note I wrote down, but the Bears called end of the second half. Vikings have the ball. A minute or so left, minute 40, I think. And the Bears called a timeout because, they're like, oh, we were going to get the ball back. Third down, second down, they did it too. We're going to get the ball back. And obviously Caleb, who's incredible, is just going to lead a minute long drive to tie the game up or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then the Bears just went ahead to like the Vikings converted 3rd and 10 to a wide open TJ Hawkinson, like 10 yards wide open.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's call some timeouts. It's fine. And then the next play you're going to have is just players running back. So Addison was wide open too.
Bears are bad. Caleb Williams is not good. I'm like, he makes the odd play where you're like, holy cow, that's a serious talent. But he is a mess. Did you see when Aikman was going through last night on all the plays that guys were just wide open and he was just not throwing them the ball?
No, yeah.
It was insane.
He's not looking good. He's like Jay Cutler was 0.5, and I don't even like Jay Cutler, but he's like half of Jay Cutler.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. God, that's tough. Poor Bears fans.
Yeah, exactly. And then one more thing from the Vikings game, and we can cut this out. A separate pet peeve I have. I can go the rest of my football life without hearing the words coaching tree. Every time. Oh, he's from the coaching tree. It's like, I don't, I've heard it 5,000 times. Two, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
enough. And it's the same coaching tree. It's literally, we hear the exact same one over and over and over and over until we're blue in the face. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
O'Connell, McDaniel, the other McDaniel, who else? The other dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're all from the same coaching tree. We understand. Can we stop talking about it, please?
Stop talking about the coaching tree. Go back to the Belichick tree where none of them worked out and they stopped talking about it.
Yes, exactly. Like, so anyways, I've had enough coaching tree. Oh, we've got another poll.
Okay.
Who do we have? Well, this is not interesting, but who do we have for the podcast? Most times mentioned on the podcast. So the awards are Dan Campbell, positive and negative, Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson. One I'll save for later because it's a segue into another topic.
Yeah.
So
I think it's Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's kind of like Coach.
He finds his way in.
Yeah, he's like a much, much better version of Coach Jameis Winston. Like a high, he's on here for highs and lows.
Much, much better.
So I've got Patriots in here. Is there any games you want to go over? Were there any good games?
No, you know what? One quick, before we get too far away from it, one quick loser. And it's only because I saw this in person. So I've been like, we always go to Seattle games. So I always go to a Seahawks game, usually one a year. Not because I'm a Seahawks fan, but it's because it's the closest NFL stadium. And but when you go down there, it's you want them to do well because it's been a great crowd. They've always had a huge advantage. The 12th man, dead.
Really?
Dead. This is both games I went to this year. They've just been swarmed by out of town fans. Like it was 30% Packers fans on Sunday night, at least.
Yeah.
At least there was "Go Pack Go" chants echoing through the stadium in the fourth quarter.
Ooh.
Like the Seattle Seahawks fan, the 12th man is no more. It's not. They have no advantage. Like there used to be every single game. Remember, there was a stat all the time.
Yeah.
They showed the stat that they'd lead the league in false starts by their opponents at home. It's not even allowed anymore. Like it's a tough look. I mean, in Seattle as a city has just gone kind of downhill in general. But that's the 12th man is Deadsville.
That we'll call it the 12th bandwagon man because they only were there when they were winning Super Bowls. And that's
well, shoot, they went into the game leading the division,
and
now they're gone.
But, they knew they were fraudulent. And before we get into the Seattle frauds, not frauds, but I had the same I went to the same thing happen at the Packers game. I went for my Vikings in Lambeau, and so watched the game. The Vikings won. They also have this play that doesn't get used enough, but I call it the Adam Thielen play. I don't know, what do you call it, Blaze? Where like he goes for a slant and then he turns you and he like goes outside, and Adam Thielen is always 10
like
yards
an arrow
wide
route or a smash route. Some teams will call it different. A lot of teams call it an arrow.
Okay.
Yeah, or a smash.
During that one season, Adam Thielen probably scored 10 touchdowns from that route. Like he just would kill everyone. But then it was the best because I was listening to Packers radio because I was in a rental that didn't have like Bluetooth for some fucking reason. Oh, it was like a U-Haul. That's a different story for a different time. Why I had a U-Haul in Green Bay.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. But no one got killed. Don't worry. The local announcers or the local radio show was just crying the next day. And they're awful Green Bay accents too. They're like,
do
what? I can't even do it. Oh, we can't have. No, I sound like a hillbilly, which they are, I guess. But the Packers guys like, we can't have the Vikings fans at our venue like this. Like season tickets, people should get their tickets taken away. We should never resell tickets. It should be illegal from like reselling. I get the whole season ticket thing, like, but then it started to get progressively crybaby. Oh, like it should be illegal. You can't sell tickets to Lambeau to the other team and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they're crying so bad because the Vikings just pounced them.
I love it.
In Lambeau. So
I love it. Well, it's going to start happening in Seattle, but I don't know if they care enough. They're kind of a soft city. So it used to be awesome, man. It used to be You know where I'm
Yeah.
heading with that. I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
a political debate, but like it's kind of a flaky city. So
Yeah.
it used to be just the best. I used to love going to games there. It'd be so loud, and now it's
Mhm.
just nothing. They just roll
Yeah.
over and take it.
Is Slugger still good at least?
Yeah, we didn't go. We went to a different establishment this time because we had to get there early. We had a beautiful Airbnb, had this sweet 100-inch TV, no cable,
Ooh. No cable.
no cable. Couldn't even get the games
Ooh.
on. Tried
Well,
doing the
because it.
airdrop thing, but it didn't work because we all have Canadian plans. So any of our Dazzin or Sunday Ticket or anything doesn't work. And yeah, it was quite a scene.
Oh.
So we just went to the bar at 10 a.m.
Well, that probably worked out fine, right?
Yeah, so you can imagine the condition we were in by the time the game started at 5:30.
That is a Seattle thing. Like, you don't want to waste energy. It probably ruins the environment if you have cable. So I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, right, no doubt.
Yeah.
So
Did you end up meeting up with Butcher at all? Our buddy Butcher was in there. Shout out Butcher.
we did. He came
Yeah.
and met us Saturday night.
Oh,
It was good.
okay,
It was
nice.
good to see him right after you texted, and then he, I think Bud texted him, said, "Hey, we're at."
Well, I started that text chain.
Okay.
You weren't responding, so I was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Bud, Butcher," and I was like, and Butcher's like, "All right, I'm in an Uber. Where are you guys?" And then there's two of the same bar, and he's like, "Which one is it?"
Yeah, Buckley's. There was two of them,
Buckley's.
and so
And
yeah, he found us.
I'm feeding the baby at 2 a.m. my time, and I'm
Yeah.
setting up bar meetups with my buddies back in Seattle at midnight.
That's awesome.
That's
I haven't
my
seen him
fucking
forever. I
life.
didn't realize he lives in BC again. I thought he was
Oh,
in Saskatchewan last I saw. So
yeah.
it's good to see him. Good to
Yeah.
see him. Him and his lovely wife, his much better half.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't see him after the game though. We kind of, I think, just went our own way. We were
Yeah.
pretty worn out by then.
Yeah. That's fair. Other games. Oh, Seattle. Back to Seattle. I think we've said this every podcast. Like, they're good against the bottom 20 teams, but they're just not good against good teams.
Like, they're a good bad team.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Tampa, I feel like, is a little bit like they're kind of their similar match. Like, they can they can play with most anyone, but they'll never beat good teams. They'll just beat regular teams.
Tampa, I think, is a little better than that, though. They've had some decent performances lately. I mean, Chargers had the number one scoring defense going in.
Oh, true.
And Tampa put up 40 on them.
This is true.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
We'll have to get into maybe a topic next week, remind me, but who can be like a big upset special in the playoffs? Because Tampa obviously can be nominated for that.
Yeah.
Go through games real quick to see if we miss anything. And before that, actually, I'll get to another loser of the week. So I don't forget. Loser of the week, it was Cam Newton. Maybe we can call it the Cam Newton Award. Now it's the Odell is in this, where every week... Oh, no, we'll call it the Terrell Owens Award. That's who started it.
Okay.
So the Terrell Owens Award, if you don't know, it's where T.O. every year, and me and Blaze would text about this for the last 7 years. I think he's still doing it. Oh, the only team I'd play for right now if they ask. Like, I'm waiting for their phone call.
Yeah. Hey, T.O., it's the flag football team from your local high school league. That's who you're going to play for. That's the only one that wants you.
Yeah. And then, Cam Newton was doing it all last year, the year before. Like, oh, I would only play for this list of teams when they call. Yeah. And now Odell has and I quote, short list of teams he will play for. Odell.
Yeah.
Eminem. Burrow Eminem. It's over.
It's over. It's over. Yeah, your short list should be long, and it should be in another league. Yes. You're not playing in this one.
Maybe he meant how many teams are left in the CFL? Is it the playoffs yet? Maybe he meant like the
no,
CFL.
It's done. It's over.
Damn it.
It's over. Yeah. So maybe he's looking at next year.
Yeah, arena football because there's only so many teams.
It's so bad. I love it. I love these guys' confidence, though. Like, I mean, you got to have it. It's kind of like they showed a quick interview from the Bears rookie left tackle that had to start last night, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what do you think about your first start?" He's like, "Caleb's safe back there. He ain't gonna be touched with me on there." And like the first pass rush, guy just went right around him like he was standing still, and he got completely abused for pretty much most of the game. Yeah, that strip sack where he just didn't even touch the guy.
I was gonna say, was he the strip sack guy? I thought he was. Yeah,
that was him. That's the pylon.
I don't want to I take back, Odell, what I said. One time I was at the NBA All-Star Game party, and I smoked weed with Odell in the back of his SUV limo, and we hung out all night and partied.
There you go.
And I never really smoked weed at all especially at this time. And I was like, well, if you're in the back of like a stretch limo and like Kevin Durant was in the car and other guys,
Yeah.
I was like,
Probably
I
gotta.
think Odell in like the height of Odell Powers.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was fine.
Maybe
That
that
was
was
my
his
Odell story.
downfall.
Yeah, maybe it was smoking weed in LA during. Oh, I guess it was off season. Oh,
Yeah.
Not to hop around, but a winner I have, Anthony Richardson, and yeah, and I have this topic for you, which I never
Like a
thought
different
about
Anthony
much.
Richardson?
No, it's the
Okay.
Anthony A-Rich. It has nothing to do with on-field play, so it's off-field play.
Yeah.
And my question for you is, I don't understand in the height of like playoff contention, big games, all this stuff. And I assume it doesn't happen as much anymore, but players going on like long vacations during their bye weeks. So Anthony Richardson, coach said, "Hey, like, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm not going on vacation. I want to practice. I want to learn." So
Yeah.
great for A-Rich. Obviously, he doesn't help on the field, but he
At least he's trying.
he's trying, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I never understand like maybe a 2-day trip, but your season's only 5 months long. Your career is what, 2 years to 8 years long?
Yeah.
I get you would need a break. I mean, who are we to say to tell these supreme athletes don't go on vacation? I just not sure I understand like going to Cancun and going
I
on
think it
partying.
depends on the position. I think if you're like the right guard and the left guard and you want to just go and be in the sun and warm water for 2 days,
2 days, totally
right?
fine.
I'm fine with that. Like
Mm.
if you want to go to Cabo, like don't be going down to party and sit in the pool. Like you want to just go, just be like, okay, I'm gonna just float
Spa
and
days.
get heat and get spa days. I think that makes sense. But you're
Yeah.
right. Like other than that, I mean, you're a pro. You're a professional athlete. Your season's not that long. You got a whole off season to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I found it interesting because Romo always got killed for this, right? Because he was always like going on vacations on his bye weeks. I remember that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just especially with where we are now with athletes who take care of their bodies so much and it's so scientific and all that. I'm just shocked to hear that people are still going on like full party vacations.
100%. Wasn't Romo though going with like Prime Carrie Underwood or one of those kind of stars? So that's shit. You almost get a pass for that.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I guess it takes a lot. Like we all have great significant others.
Yes.
But if Carrie Underwood's like, no, we're going to Cabo, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to Cabo. Sorry, guys.
She makes more money than I do, so
yeah, she's way hotter than I am, and I got to hold on tight here.
Yeah, are they still married or are they together?
No. She married a hockey player, Mike Fisher.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
who's Romo?
Handsome son of a bitch too. I don't know. I
forgot. Yeah, didn't he play for Nashville?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I remember this now. Well, we can scroll through some games and I'll remember my other losers I got for you. But Rams Niners, the loser actually, football. Yeah, the loser for that game is all fantasy football fans. Everyone.
Right?
Oh my God. I won't bore people with my guillotine stories again, but I'm in the Final Four. Now I'm in the Final Three. And thank God all of us in the Final Four had one player each from that game, or else I would have been in trouble.
That really kept scores down. Because there were some big guys that put up goose eggs.
Yeah.
Like imagine, I mean, you wouldn't in the guillotine league, but like I know the guy in our league, our 16-teamer, he had Cooper Cup. He made the playoffs, like, and it's zero, like fucking zero. He got more points from the Moondog than he got Cooper Cup.
Yeah. So that made me sweat it out because in my 16-teamer, I had who's a wide receiver for the Niners who dropped a touchdown.
Debo?
Yeah, Debo. Yeah. Hasn't done anything, but I had to start him. Nothing. Goose egg.
Crickets.
And I had Juwan Jennings in the guillotine, like 4 points. Yeah. I was screwed. Somehow I made it through, thankfully. So that's the winner, I think, loser from the Rams game. Are the Rams? The Rams are like good, right? Yeah, they're the other kind of good bad team.
Yeah,
I guess they can beat good teams, but
I think they're pretty good because they have Stafford, who's when he's on is still one of the top guys. They got a couple of good weapons, and their defense is really playing well. They've drafted really, really well up front.
Really well.
They are just bullying people right now. So
yeah,
I think they're all right. I don't know that. I think they'll be a tough out in the playoffs. You don't want to. They'll host a game, but they'll be it's not going to be a foregone conclusion that like Minnesota or Green Bay is going to just waltz in and roll them. I don't think.
Yeah. No, I think. Yeah, I'd be scared if I was a shoot. I'd be scared of every team to play them. I get. I
Right now, I
actually.
think it's the Vikings.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
bet last year the Rams would beat in everything the Lions last year, and they should have. Right, something weird happened. A bad penalty, I think, happened because they only
Yeah, it was
lost
close
by.
for a while.
Mm. There was some brutal penalty call because the refs have it for the Lions. The league loves the Lions, so they had to get that
Oh,
call.
here we go. Here we go.
But yeah, so I like the Rams, and yeah, I'd be scared to play them.
Well, right now I
Cowboys,
think you're playing them, aren't you?
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So I guess I am scared. That's still so much stuff can happen.
Them or the Bucks. Yeah, that's a long way to go. You guys could still end up winning your division.
Yeah,
The Lions have nobody left.
oh yeah.
They've
I'm
lost
glad you
12 guys off their defense, went to IR so far, or something stupid.
and David Montgomery's out for the year now.
Yeah.
They just lost another defensive tackle. They lost a corner. So I think it was 11 players on IR or 12 players on IR last week, which was double the most of any other team on the defensive side. And this added 2 more. So
Jesus.
I nailed it last podcast. I said the Lions are going to win because of injuries, because of Dan Campbell. And I said Jared Goff, which is weird because Goff they won the game where he had 5 interceptions, and then they lost the game where he had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, 470 yards. A lot of that was garbage. They were playing catch up that whole game.
Exactly.
Buffalo had that game handled the whole time, even with their shit defense.
Yeah,
they've given up 86 points in 2 games.
I guess we can get to the Bills too. Like the Bills D and who to the Bills D.
They're terrible.
I think I don't want to. I'm a homer, and I don't want to jinx it, but I think the Chiefs could win this running away just purely based on defense alone, because the Ravens and then the Lions and the Bills are their contenders, and the Chiefs defense is like 3 times better than all of them.
All of them. Philly.
Yeah, Philly has a chance.
Yeah.
So
that would be tough.
Because the Bills, like, it's going to be interesting because obviously it's what other game has been like this? Did Brady have? I guess the Mahomes year when he lost to Brady kind of had that where Mahomes had nothing and he lost the game. So good luck, Josh Allen. But Mahomes was doing everything he could to kind of try and beat Tampa, and there was 0 chance. Like,
none. It was a drubbing. I think the thing with the Bills, it's like, can anybody stop Josh Allen though right now? He seems to be just at a completely separate level, but in the playoffs that actually evens out, man. Like, I can't. I was thinking this. I was out for a walk this morning. What would the over under be? Playoff game, Bills Ravens.
Oh my God. 70. 71.
Right? It'd have
71
to be in the 60s. It'd have to be in the 60s for sure.
We need to bet that over, because it's like 35. I had like a 35-36 game. Was what I was thinking.
Yeah, without a doubt. So you're right. Like, KC's in a good spot. Except, and this is Mahomes. Is he injured? Is he not? Who knows? He always likes kind of limping around this time of year.
Yeah, he does.
But he's going to really fuck me in my fantasy playoffs this week because I have him.
Oh.
Yes. And do I play him, or my other option is Herbert, who plays Thursday night?
Ooh. I think you have to be safe and pick Herbert, right? Like, you just have to be safe.
I know, but he's banged up too and plays Denver, so I think I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you are in trouble. Ooh, that's rough.
And it's not one of like those mother, dudes who lives in their mother's basement leagues where you can just go and pick up people anytime you want, and like we don't play those rules.
No, 16-teamer. That's the only thing you should play, people out there.
Yeah.
That is tough. And then back to Taylor Swift, the bookie. She's been in on this. She's like, you know what? Go down. You got an ankle injury this week.
Yeah.
I've got money on this, blah, blah, blah. Then you come back on Christmas. But I guess if you're the Chiefs, not only because of this injury, but also just game plan wise, having that bye and being able to plan for either Ravens or Bills, like extra weeks for Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
And him having an extra week to kind of just dissect how to stop these guys, I think that'll be huge for them too.
Absolutely.
If they can get that.
I don't think there's much doubt they're going to get a bye now, right? Like they're not going to. They'd have to lose. They have to lose 2 games.
I think they have a 1.5 point lead because the Bills have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but whereas the Bills have 3 losses and the Chiefs only have 1, so
Yeah,
they still need to lose. Chiefs aren't losing 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not happening.
Unless it's Carson Wentz time, but watch Carson Wentz can make it happen. Who do they have left? Let me check. The
Texans,
Chiefs,
Steelers, and I'm not sure who the last one is.
Texans, Steelers, and
Gotta be a division game.
Broncos.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a rough setup for them.
Yeah, I just don't see it being 3. I don't see 2 losses in there.
I agree.
Because even if they didn't play this week and they lost, you damn well know he's playing next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to be playing on Christmas.
Yeah.
Bookie Taylor needs it. Cowboys, Panthers, no reason to talk about that game. Chiefs, Browns. A loser. Poor Winnie.
Oh, yeah.
-1. Matt, someone started him. They somehow made it. But he had -1 fantasy points this past week. Yeah.
Ouch.
3 interceptions. He got benched for DTR.
Ugh.
He might not be starting this week.
He can't be. Yeah. Tough spot.
I have to give a shout out to Cousin Sal because I would love to steal this, but I can't. But he basically said like the Jameis roller coaster now is just like no ups. It's just only downs.
Yeah. Down and then flat line and then down and then flat.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no more.
No. Oh, great. We get to harp on Tua. The Dolphins-Texans game. Tua now, I think, is like a 1-18 against teams with winning records. It's something stupid.
Yeah.
Throws brutal picks, like absolutely terrible picks to guys right in their hands. And not only that, he was the loser of the week for me because you probably didn't see it because you're down in the bars. I don't know if they replayed it, but his effort after he threw a pick, he was like half jogging. I forgot. Let's keep on going. Tua, loser of the week. I totally forgot. It's not Devondre Campbell who needs to be cut. It needs to be Tua. Tua needs to get cut. Not only are these picks, I can't believe I forgot this. Tua is finished. He 3 picks. He can't beat teams with a winning record, as we've discussed in this podcast. Everyone knows over and over. His 0 effort. Everyone, please rewind the game and watch where he just jogged. And thank God Devon Chan came and saved the pick 6 because that was a great effort, hustle play by him. Then Tua throws a fucking muffin to his wide receiver over the middle and got him almost actually killed.
Almost actually killed. I was waiting for that. I'm like, how did all this stuff until you haven't mentioned the fact that he almost got his teammate killed yet?
Yes. Oh my God. Like he hurt Tyreek Hill at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And now he almost kills this guy. He's like just lobbing little throws to his players. It's so bad.
$55 million for the next 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's fantastic. I think it's fucking awesome. I love it.
And
Dolphins are going to be so bad.
Parlays. This is where parlays, I never do teasers for this exact reason. Parlays are the same thing. So I had the perfect parlay or thought in my mind. Jalen Hurts over and AJ Brown over.
Yeah.
That was the premise of my bet because all the stuff going on, they're going to be like, let us show you the passing game's on fire. Me and AJ are best friends. I was 100% bet your house on this. But then a parlay, you get greedy. And then you see, the Steelers are +5.
Yeah.
I need more money. Me winning +175 is enough. Let's make sure that we get this to +350. And you get greedy.
Yeah.
And you toss the Steelers in +5 and then you lose. So,
with the craziest, I think this might be one of the craziest stats of the year. You know how many times the Steelers had the ball in the second half?
Oh, wasn't it twice?
Yes.
That is so.
That is nuts to me. Like absolutely, in an entire half of football, 2 times, including not once in the last 10.5 minutes. Like, how do you have a 10.5-minute drive with the game on the line?
And that's without Barkley going off as well.
I know. See, I haven't been as high on the Steelers as you have. You and Bill Simmons have been on. I was like, okay, they're pretty good, but I don't know who they've played yet. And they didn't really look like they belonged in that game.
No, it didn't look good for them.
They have some tough games coming up. They still got the Chiefs and the Ravens. Yeah. And then the Bengals, who are suddenly hot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the bet might be right now is on the Ravens to win that division.
I think the Ravens were still even favored last week. So I think
Really?
the betting, the sports
Okay.
books were on it.
Yeah.
The speaking of the Bengals and stats, what was it? 10 turnovers and 20 penalties, and this has never happened since 2006 or something
In
like
that
that
game?
in the Bengals Titans game.
Oh, gross.
It hasn't happened in 20 years where there's been 10 turnovers and
That's
20 or
gross.
25 or 30 plus penalties. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
The worst game in the history of the last 20
Disgusting
years of
behavior.
football. Yeah. Bucks Chargers, if you told me, I'm glad I can't bet down here because I think I would have had a much closer, like if it was +3 for the Bucks or something, I would have taken, or I don't know. I just wouldn't have expected 40-17 Bucks Chargers, I
No,
guess is what I'm
God,
trying
no.
to
I don't
say.
think anyone would have. I don't think anybody would have thought that. The Bucks were missing 2 safeties. I was like, oh, maybe Herbert's going to bounce back here and have a big one.
Yeah.
No. I mean, he had 2
Wow.
touchdowns early, but that's about it.
So we talked Pats, Cards, Packers, Seahawks. We talked about, I guess that's it. The Vikings could be in the driver's seat.
I think they might be.
I guess, especially if the Detroit was fully healthy, I wouldn't do it. But with them hurt,
yeah.
And
they still play right next week. Not this one coming, the one after.
Yeah. And the 1 seed, I guess the Eagles probably have the 1 seed. Shit, no, we're tied with them. Who do the Eagles
does
have
right now? Detroit still does right now.
But if we were to win, I mean,
yeah.
Oh my god! And if you hate this, of course, but the Eagles have Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. So I think they might.
It's unbelievable. It's uncanny. It's one of the most confusing things about the NFL to me. Is every year these guys have just such a puss schedule. And a lot of it is the division because the division stinks, and there's always sure, there's a second the Commies will be in this year, the Cowboys last year, but they're no good. Let's call it like it is.
I'm trying to find Lamar stat, a winner, because we gotta give a winner out. Most games with 5 pass touchdowns and 5 or fewer completions in NFL history. Peyton,
incompletions.
Fewer incompletions, yes.
Yeah.
Most games, 5 pass touchdowns and 5 or fewer incompletions in NFL history. The most ever is Ben, Peyton, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady tied at 3. Lamar Jackson in first with 5.
5. And then his 5th year in the league, or 6th year in the league.
Yeah. And 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
And if Josh Allen wasn't an absolute superhero, he would be on his way to his third MVP.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, old Bobby Griffin still won't let it go. He still keeps tweeting out that it's a 2-man race for the MVP. It's like, homeboy, it's over. Okay, get it. I know you're not you don't like it. You don't like Josh Allen, but come on, this race is over.
Yeah. Josh Allen, he is now the first player in NFL history with 35 or more passing and rushing touchdowns in 4 straight seasons.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the other stat I had, the Titans Bengals, is actually 26 combined penalties and 10 turnovers. So
imagine having to watch that whole game.
Oh my god.
It was bad enough having to watch that slop last night. Like the Vikings, there was parts of the Vikings game that was okay, but the other 3 teams are
so bad.
Were tragic. I barely even watched any of the Atlanta Raiders game. It was so garbage.
I'm with you. I've got one. Oh, winner. Before we get to college, we're going to do college and Yellowstone. Yeah. You can choose which one first.
Oh boy.
Teddy Bridgewater, another winner.
Yeah.
You see his. So people don't know Teddy Bridgewater went out there, first round draft pick for the Vikings, who shattered his knee, as typical happens with the Vikings. Won the state championship, 3A in Miami at his old school, who had never really done that well lately, or maybe, I don't know. But won the state championship, so good for Teddy.
Yeah, good for Teddy. I like that. Hope he does well.
And then actually, another loser I've got is poor Justin Fields. And Justin Fields isn't a loser because of anything he does. But they put the poor guy out there to run the ball, and he just gets fucking crushed every time.
Yeah. Know your role, kid. God. Know your role.
He's got to be like, guys, I was 5-2, and you're just sending me out once a game to just get a headshot every time I go there.
Slobber knockered. It's unreal.
Poor guy.
That is tough.
And finally, Blaze likes to hate on basketball, so his Time Athlete of the Year last week, it was Caitlin Clark, and he loves to say,
The
anyways, hates on
biggest
basketball.
basketball player on the planet.
So the Time Person of the Year is your boy Donald Trump, and the Artist of the Year was Elton John. So I think I'm seeing Time has a sort of, I don't want to put this out there, but Caitlin Clark, Donald Trump, Elton John. I just see a bit of a thing going. I don't know who owns Time magazine. I assume it's not an African American person or a Mexican
Here we
or
go.
anyone. So
here we go.
I know I already put, if you can bet for Time Athlete of the Week, of the year, sorry, it's going to be Cooper Flagg, the white hype college basketball player right now for Duke. So if you can bet on that, I'm going to tell you right now. Time.
You're calling Time a bunch of racist sons of bitches.
Yeah,
What you're doing.
I wish I forgot. I went to Google it to see if this was like a trend.
Boy, wouldn't that be something? I gotta think
right?
though, if it was, we would have heard about this before.
This is true. And I guess Elton John is gay, so they're not like fully non.
And Trump is orange, so he's kind of a color as well.
Yeah, he's an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think it's a bit of a reach. I think you're trying to discount poor Caitlyn being the biggest basketball star on the planet.
Here we go. Well, and Trump is the greatest person on the planet. So those, that according to Time, those are the two.
I don't know if that's true. Don't clip that one, please.
Hey, that's what Time says. According to Time, he's the person of the year. All right, that wrapped up part 1. Stick around part 2, college football, a college football pool you need to be part of, Yellowstone recap. We rank the best series of all time. We talk Gladiator and just some other regular nonsense, but it's a great part 2. It's only 45 minutes long, maybe less actually, so check it out. Enjoy. Get into part 2. Let's go.